Hi, welcome to the Golf Fit System. We're in the gym today, or starting in the gym because it's a little bit warmer. We're going to talk about how you can reduce your risk of injury in your lower back and try and get a bit more consistent in your performance. We're going to focus, there's other things that can affect this, we can cover that in other episodes that we have done. What we're really going to focus on is your awareness of what a neutral spine feels like, okay, or what a straight back feels like. You know, this is the best joint in your body. This can flex, it can extend, it can side bend, it can rotate, it can do all those things. But if you ask it to do more than one of those at a time, you're going to have problems. So the first thing we're going to do is have a look at some of the issues we can have, and then we're going to look at how to make it straighter. So, Ollie, set up in a golf posture for us. So the first one that we see, this tends to be the younger golfers, not exclusively, but it does. You can see an excessive arch here in all his lower back, lumbar area, and that can put a lot of pressure on his lower back, and again, reduce the amount of rotation you get. The other one we get tends to be again with older golfers, but again not exclusively, this rounding of the upper back, and you can see how his shoulders are brought forward to try and reach the golf club. We don't want either of those because both equally are going to steal range from your rotation. So what we're going to do now is have a look at Ollie's trying to get into a straight back position to get a feeling for that. We'll give you 3 exercises to try and help that. Ollie, if you lie on your back. So first one, what we're going to do is just get Ollie to practice what we call pelvic tilts on the floor. So he's going to practice, get some control of his pelvis and his lower back. So he's going to arch his lower back as much as he can and flatten his lower back into the floor. You should feel that when you arch you get a little bit of tension in your lower back. When you flatten, you get a little bit of tension in the front and your abs and your stomach. Once he's got that, and he can find the middle of the two positions, which should have a little bit of tension but not as much as the totally flat version, he's going to add some tension from his glutes and try and extend his hips. Really important that you have strength in these muscles around here, so your glutes and your abs, to try and maintain that pelvic position. Great. Ollie, so let's stand up. I'll give you this. So what we're going to do is you can use a golf club, you can use a bar. I want you to take that onto your back, okay? You're going to use that as your feedback instead of the floor. You're going to practice set-up postures or hip hinge postures. You're going to practice hinging your hips as you would do in your golf swing without losing contact with the bar anywhere in your back. So 3 main points to look out for: back of the head, back of the shoulders, and the back of the belt at the bottom. If any of these areas come off, you know you're losing your neutral posture as you hip hinge. Last one. What we're going to do is really challenge Ollie to maintain that neutral position. So we're going to get him to kneel on this pad. 2 knees together. We're going to give him this medicine ball. You can use a lot of objects for this. Don't use anything too heavy. We're really focusing on stability here. What we want him to do is reach up as high as he can while trying to maintain a tall, neutral spine. So those tension areas you found earlier, that awareness you've got now of your lower back and the rest of your spine being stable, try and use that to give you some feedback on this. Let's make it more goal specific, Ollie. Let's see if you can go diagonally across from one pocket across the opposite shoulder. So again, he's trying to reach up here, just like you do in your backswing, without losing a neutral spine. You'll notice with all these exercises, we're not going really golf specific. That's about as golf specific as we go with this. The reason for that is because we want to make sure that you get a good awareness before you take it onto the range.
Yeah, massively. If we're making sure that we build this foundation of good posture away from hitting ball screen, really, really important, because trying to hit golf balls while trying to make all these little adjustments, very, very difficult to do. We really want golfers to be on that golf course or on the driving range, focusing on the task at hand, just hitting that little white thing in the hole.
Yeah, exactly. So separate, just like we're about to do, we're going to head across to the range now and show you how it can affect your golf shots. Okay, so in the gym we had a look at how easy it is to lose your spine position, how easy it is to lose neutral spine, and lots of us have to deal with this, just about all of us at some point. So Ollie, how does this affect our golf swings?
Okay, so there's lots of ways that this could affect your golf swing, but I'm going to give you my top 3.
Okay.
Okay, so the number 1, if we start kind of the takeaway sequence is, if we lose this kind of this stability, this lumbar stability here, we then cheat maybe in the rotation side of things, and we then end up with a little bit of lateral movement, particularly early in that takeaway sequence, which then has a knock-on effect further down the line, leading to all sorts of issues at impact.
Yeah, and you've got to remember that you'll always take the move from somewhere, so if you can't rotate well, you're going to go lateral, that's a rule to remember, or you could go reverse, you could go lots of ways.
Yeah, well, that's, that leads me to 2 and 3, awesome. So we're going to let Craig demo this because there's just basically more torso here, so with me being vertically challenged. So what we'll see here is my second big one that we see here is, see how we've got Craig's got excessive amounts of arch in his lower back. So that really has a major effect on how the upper body might rotate during the swing. So then that leads us nicely to the third in my top 3 of, as you swing back, Craig, before we go to the top of the swing. So instead of having a nice rotation, what we see here is this upper body potentially leaning towards the target, which is, we mentioned a few weeks ago, is reverse spine, or just simply we have an excessive amount of rotation in that thoracic area, which then has a multitude of compensations on the way down. So hooks, slices, you name it, anything can happen. So
yeah,
that's my top 3.
Cool. Okay, we'll have a look at some shots and see how much of a mess that can make your golf swing, and we'll come back to it. Okay, so we've had a look at some of the pitfalls you could have from losing your spinal position. Hopefully now you're aware of these, you can look out for them, try and be aware of them, and also have some solutions to the problems. If you do that, less chance of injury, and also hopefully get a bit more of your golf, a bit more control as well.
Yeah, 100%, yeah, and it's really about, for me, this has a major effect on how well you perform, but also reduce that risk of injury, which at the end of the day, people who aren't playing golf are the miserable golfers.
Okay, thanks for joining us, we'll see you again next time.
Barbell.
Stay in the gym.
How are you?